Welcome back to Von Blues Boxing. What's going on with everybody, man? So I wanted to get this video out there. I know it's a little later, but wanted to get the predictions in for the pretty big fight this weekend in Luis Nery versus Brandon Figueroa. Um, it's going to be on Showtime. I believe it comes on at 7. I'm not sure, like 7. Probably the co-main event's around 4. The undercard at 4 and stuff like that. So it's going to be a pretty good fight. This fight is in the 122-pound division, the WBC belt. Luis Nery currently holds that belt. He won it in a vacant title against Aaron Almeida. He fought him. He won the title. He beat Almeida. Ray Vargas was the champion, but Ray Vargas moved up to 126 pounds. Ray Vargas is currently the mandatory for Gary Russell's WBC 126-pound belt. So we'll see if that fight happens. Pretty good fight, man. Hell of a fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. You got two guys you got a guy in Brandon Figueroa who likes to come in, tall, rangy guy, but he loves fighting in the inside. That's where Brandon likes to be. That's where he gets his bread and butter at, and that's where he's had his success at. So we know that about Brandon Figueroa. Then we got Luis Nery. Luis Nery likes to come inside because he's a shorter fighter, but the thing about Luis Nery is Luis Nery will use feints. He will use, he will use feints. He'll use upper body movement, things of that nature to get himself inside, and he uses his jab. As a shorter fighter, Nery works off the jab a lot. He will not abandon his jab, and that's one thing I like about Luis Nery. Luis Nery got some slickness to himself. He's not just a guy who's going to come forward and throw punch like, some people might think he is, but he can be slick at times. He's a pretty slick fighter. He's a 2-division champion. Two weight class division world champion in not Luis Nery, in Luis Nery. And then you got Brandon Figueroa, who currently owns the WBA regular 122-pound belt. He is Brandon Figueroa, a young fighter, pretty fun fighter, exciting. Like I said, pretty cool resume at the 122-pound division. I got to see him fight in the flesh. He fought in I believe it was the undercard or main card of Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz 2. I was there at that fight and got to see kind of how he was and what type of fighter and the type of things he bring and stuff like that. He's good in the inside. Brandon Figueroa likes to fight in the inside. He can overwhelm his opponents at times, but he can be hittable, because him giving up so much height, and he tends to give up his height and things of that nature and his range at times. Brandon, sometimes he'll tend to give it up. But in this fight, I think, as far as my predictions going this, because I didn't want to be too long on this predictions, I believe Luis Nery will win the decision. I think Luis Nery will win this fight. I think it's going to be a fun fight. I think Brandon Figueroa is going to make a good count of himself, but I just think Luis Nery will pull this off. Now, Luis Nery is the shorter and the smaller man. He's coming up weight and things of that nature. This is his second fight at 122 pounds. But I just think Luis Nery got enough skills. He's intelligent enough and he's slick enough to get this job done. And I think he will do the better work in the inside. I think Brandon Figueroa will land some good shots and things of nature, but I think Nery overall will land the more effective shots. I think he'll be more of the effective boxer, and I think he will get the decision in this fight. I think he will control this fight, and I think he will control the flow of this. So I'm going with Luis Nery with the unanimous decision. I can see Luis Nery. I believe Luis Nery will win this fight. And also, the winner of this fight will be fighting Steve Fulton Jr. for on September 11th, the current WBO 122-pound champion. They will be fighting Steve Fulton on September 11th. PBC had put that on there, when they announced their schedule for the summer and stuff like that, and the beginning of fall when they announced their boxing schedule on Showtime. And yeah, it says Steve Fulton will be fighting the winner. So I'm picking Luis Nery to win this fight and win the unanimous decision, but it might unanimous decision, but who knows who's going to win this fight. So whoever wins this fight, will fight Stephen Cool Boy Fulton Jr. will fight him, and that would be a unification bout, you know, because you have the WBC title on the line, the WBA regular title on the line, and you have the WBO champion. Now, the real champion of the WBA at 122 pounds is MJ Akhmadelev. I call him MJ, which he's known as Akhmadelev. He's the current real WBA super champion, things of that nature. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going with Luis Nery, unanimous decision. I think Luis Nery will get the job done. Like I just said, this is going to be a great fight. Do not miss this fight. And Daniel Rahman is on the card too. And I just seen the on Boxing Scene, shout out via Boxing Scene, that Daniel Rahman is supposed to be the mandatory for the WBC belt. He probably won't get that shot next. He's probably going to have to wait in line for a little bit because it seemed like PBC already got it the way they're going to go with it. Steve Fulton is going to be fighting the winner. So Daniel Rahman is still in the mix, but he might have to wait a couple of fights before he gets that title shot again. But yeah, that's my predictions for the fight. Luis Nery, unanimous decision. Von Blues Boxing. I'm out.